we got it. We're, yeah.
I'm just letting you know.
That's fine.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, we were kind of getting ready. How's it going? Like Justin said. I think my opener.
So some Fords have been winning, Donnie.
Oh, okay. We're just going to jump right into it. Well, first off, if you liked any of my information from last week, my useless information I look up when I'm home, make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, all that fun stuff. Make sure you do the same thing for this video. But yes, we did have some Fords winning.
Okay, yeah. I guess I got started too quick there. Share this with your friends, your family, your neighbors. Just type their name in on Facebook and tag them, whatever.
How many people can use my useless info? That's a big number. Anyway, yes, we did have a lot of winning with Fords going on lately, but not necessarily through an alley that we technically follow. It was at the Rolex at Daytona International Speedway. Don't know how many of you guys know Daytona International Speedway. I really don't know why you wouldn't know what it is.
It's right down the street from us.
It is. It's a whopping, I don't know, 10 miles away. We could probably hear the cars running if we were at the shop when the race happened. I could hear them from my house 3 miles from the track. But yeah, so the Ford GTs won first and second in GTLM class, which you're looking at me like GTLM means nothing to you. GTLM is basically the class that Chevy writes an open check to their GTLM guys and say, hey, win. Ford does the same thing, Cadillac does the same thing, Porsche does the same thing. GTLM is like the manufactured sponsored class. They just throw as much money as they can.
So they get the latest and greatest stuff.
They have everything.
And they're racing Ford GTs, twin turbo V6s.
Ford GTs, the Corvettes, the 911 GT3s in that class. The best of every manufacturer. So this year, the Ford GT actually won first and second GTLM class with Ford GTs. Not only did they win it, they led all but 9 laps of the race, which, okay, how many laps are in it if they only didn't lead 9? 738 laps they completed. They didn't lead 9 laps out of 738.
Wow.
So that was pretty good. Trying to see what pictures he's pulling up for us. That's a good shot. So actually, fun info for you. The Ford GTs first and second. The Corvettes won third and fourth. Well, it sounds like that's close. The GTs lapped the whole field. Both GTs lapped the Corvettes that were in third and fourth, and the GTs finished like less than half a second apart, whereas they had at least one whole lap on the whole rest of the field. So basically, Corvette won last year, and Ford this year just said, all right, we can't have Chevy going ahead and winning the big race. So This is what happened.
No, not at all. That's awesome. I mean, we know there's a lot of technology that goes into those cars to race at that level. And that kind of spills over into Ford products and the aftermarket is the idea, at least.
Well, and I don't want to say anything bad about Ford. We love our Fords here. But last year, the GTs debuted, didn't have a great showing.
Right.
But that was mainly because the GTs, honestly, I think were on track, had practice for 3 weeks before the Rolex. The cars they just weren't ready. They had a bunch of stupid little junk that held them back. But yeah, this year they represented, brought it home. What else do we want to talk about? Well, we got to leave all you guys waiting for Gen 3 info.
Yeah, we got to build up our viewer base and everything. We know why you're here, but we're going to make you listen
we got to make
some
you
other
wait.
Stuff. So, you know, the Gen 3, there's kind of some background to this, and what kind of spawned this is a bunch of factory programs, right?
Yes, like our 2019 GT500 we were talking about last week.
Yeah. That's going to have a 2650 on it.
And actually, Ford's kind of dropping some more Easter eggs for us. What Easter eggs is what I'm calling them because that's what they referred to them before. They released a pamphlet for the 19 Mustang. And in that pamphlet, they have a picture of the digital gauge cluster. And it just so happens that we are in 7th gear doing 72 miles an hour. And then on the bottom of it, it says 74.3 miles on the odometer. Now, that probably, to you scrolling past it, sounds completely insignificant. But we have a history of Ford kind of doing this stuff. In fact, with the 18 Mustang before it came out, they released a photo of the all-new digital dash and had 4th gear at 55 miles an hour, which we all assume 455 horsepower. Hey, what do you know? Comes out 460 horsepower. So, and actually even Dodge has done the same thing with the Demon. They released a video that before we even saw the car, you know, all that other fun stuff, just the build-up Dodge was doing going to it. They released a video and somebody took snapshots of it, of course, broke it down completely, like you would completely expect a bunch of critics to do. And when you go in on the back tire shot, we could see the tire size. And what looked like a typo, it said like 815 30 20 or something like that, which 815 horsepower. And then the Demon ended up, I don't even remember what number it made because it's a fake number and I don't think the car's that fast anyway. But that was Dodge doing the exact same thing, trying to hint at stuff without giving it away. So, like we said last week, new GT500 having closer to 800 horsepower, it's looking like Ford's only confirming what I know of should be up near 8.
772 horsepower.
772 horsepower and 743 foot-pounds of torque.
Now, those are crank numbers.
Those are crank numbers.
But that's a production car.
Oh, yeah.
On pump gas.
On pump gas. We still don't know what tires. Like we said last week, drag radials are definitely an option.
It's a 5.0 liter based engine, Coyote based engine, 5.2 liter. Is what we're hearing. It's going to be a little bit bigger displacement, but
it's a Predator because we don't have our flat plane crankshaft because honestly we'd blow it to 1,000 pieces if we put boost on top of it. As probably some of you have seen been done when people put Prochargers on GT500s and other centrifugal blowers.
That's another thing we don't want to get into today, Donnie.
Okay. I gotta keep it cool before we go too far.
New GT500, 772 horsepower, 2650 blower. And there's some common threads here in that it's coming with a 2.65 liter based on the Eaton rotor pack. Ford's got their own housing design, case design, which allows it to fit that package, the engine bay, the hood, everything that makes that car unique. Of course, us, VMP being in the aftermarket, we go out and design our 2650 for our purposes and for our customer base and for what we want it to fit. So it ends up looking completely different, but the core of it, the rotors inside the supercharger are the same.
We have a 2650? I thought that was an idea on paper, not a thing in person.
They got these.
Hey, that's a 2650.
Yeah, this little guy right here. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it right here.
No.
Yeah,
oh, well, yeah, here you are.
So
we got the lag.
I got the lag, yeah.
So let's see. Oh, yeah, they can see it. They can see it in your hands. So, yeah,
we'll put that right there.
There's our 2650.
Yep.
So let's go over some 2650 stuff.
Let's go over some 2650 stuff. But wait a second, Donnie. Were you not here for this?
For
why don't you cue the video?
I don't know what video you're talking about, so I guess not.
We're just kind of fucking with Donnie. We got a real 2650.
Do we?
It came in a couple days ago.
Is that what's bumping my leg? I thought you were excited to see me.
Fuck. I'm cursing too much on this show. Yeah. So Rebecca and I unboxed the first VMP Gen 3 2.65 liter Eaton based blowers. And we might just have one here for the show today.
Well, I guess I'll get a better look at it and we'll give everyone else a better look. That's our turntable, but we don't need it. You want it?
Don't scratch my cable up.
We will. All right.
So, we got this puppy right here.
There it is. That's what you guys have all been waiting for. Thanks for tuning in to Burnout Box. We'll see you next week.
We got to get more than that, Donnie.
I'm just upset you haven't shown me before you showed them. So this is it.
This is it. This is one of the first articles.
That's a big inlet.
It's big. It's got the badge, of course, that we've seen in all the pictures and renderings. It is real. That
we've seen on our Gen 3.
There's a lot of technical elements that are cool, that are important. The ball pattern is designed to fit on existing VMP and Roush supercharged 5-liter engines, and there will also be a version that bolts down to the GT500 that will look essentially the same as this, but have a couple feet in a couple different places. So,
so we're talking about applications.
Yeah, applications, GT500 and Coyote.
Listen.
No, hold on. Now I want to show them something else, Donnie.
Okay.
So Chris, cue the video. So I've actually already been testing on this at the old VMP facility on the Dyno, and getting some preliminary results, trying some different pulley combinations, some different throttle body combinations.
Okay. Well, how'd it do? Why do I hear Justin again?
She turned her sound on by accident.
Oh.
I can't disclose that yet, but I can tell you it's freaking awesome.
Please tell. David Ray asked, please tell me it will be powder coated black.
Of course, David. Of course. These came in so quick, they didn't have time to powder coat them.
Basically, what he means by they came in so quick is we were dying to get them so bad. We said expedite the shipping and get them here as fast as you possibly can because we've been waiting for them just as much as you guys have.
Don't stop to powder coat them. So I've already had the opportunity to make some dyno pulls with this thing, and like I said, it's awesome. The car that we put them on, that we put this first blower on, is Rebecca Starkey's car, and it's known to pull some crazy wheelies.
Yeah.
It will be an excellent test bed for this new Gen 3.
You know, I've always said we need to have a sign under that car, like watch out, so when she goes up on her 45-degree wheelie, you can see it or something.
Man. The wheelies are crazy, though. We try not to do that. We want to go forward, not up. But
forward and up looks cool, though.
They make for a good show. So,
All right.
Just to recap, Gen 3 is in the wild, functional, on a vehicle already. We're doing a ton of dyno runs, tuning different pulley combos, different throttle body combos, just kind of getting everything mapped out the way we want it.
All right, let me go into my bit that I want to talk about on the Gen 3, just because I am a little bit younger crowd. The crowd that I hang out with can't necessarily afford to go out and buy a 2016 Mustang and drop a blower on it or whatever. However, the 03, 04 Cobras are more in my price range and my friend's price range. And I know I'm definitely not alone when I say the Cobra guys have been waiting and waiting and waiting for the 2650, kind of like Jeremy Hinkle, who already assumed we left him out and commented what a letdown, was hoping for 03, 04 Cobra. Like, come on, dude, I'm 16 minutes into the show. Give me a little time to get there.
16 minutes, Jesus, yeah, we can't go all the way.
But
so Cobra blower, you're saying you want a Cobra blower?
I'm saying we should have a 2650 Cobra blower. That was part of our, those guys helped get us started. That was like, the competition for the LS came out and blew the world, and then 03, 04 Cobra came out and said, screw your LS.
Oh, you know, it's funny because I actually first proposed a TVS for the 03, 04 Cobra back in 2007 at the PRI show. I was talking to Harrop Engineering, an Eaton distributor out of Australia, and I said, why don't we put one of these on an 03 Cobra? Well, it took a couple of years, but in 2010, I worked with Roush Performance to design the first VMP blower, VMP specific blower, our design, our tooling, everything for the 0304 Cobra Terminator. And so those guys have they've had a great run, but 5-6 years now on the same design, and they're really jonesing for something bigger and better.
The 2.3 is great. Make a lot of power on those cars, but of course you're always going to have that guy that wants to build his car to the next level. He's going to put this block and do whatever. Yeah. So it's just time that we gave you guys something. You want them to go make it? Well, I don't want to give numbers.
Well, so we've been teasing the Cobra guys and girls with this blower for quite a while, and we why don't you cue some of those images, Chris? We have a blower design, and we have a plan to launch that blower in about 4 to 6 months.
I'll just check YouTube comments.
So this is the VMP Gen 3 up on the screen for the 0304 Cobra. And you can see the badge that has now become synonymous with the Gen 3 right there on top. It looks very similar to the older blowers, but there's a bunch of little improvements that make it better in addition to just the larger, higher performing rotor set.
Which that's the thing, it's not just bigger rotors. You hear we're going from a 2300 to a 2650. It's not just the fact that the rotors are bigger and we have more space. We have more efficient rotors coming out with the 2650.
Yeah, that's correct, Donnie. They're 15% larger, but they flow about 25% more air, and that air allows us to make more power with less parasitic loss.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that higher efficiency allows us to make more power with less parasitic loss, and allows us to run a little more boost too if we want to.
So we're saying we can make more power with less parasitic loss. So we can basically be putting this blower on other cars with smaller blowers and pulleying up and be able to make the same power.
Yes, pulley up about 2 to 3 pulley sizes to keep boost the same.
People are excited.
And make a lot more power.
Chris Williams is like, yes.
We're up to 80 viewers.
81.
Awesome.
Well, we haven't even seen YouTube. Apparently YouTube comments are going crazy for 0304 Cobra 2.
For some reason, my Facebook's not updated on my computer.
I got it.
So what do you guys want to know about the Terminator blower?
Someone wants to know if the Gen 3 is going to replace the Gen 2R in all kits.
So what was that person's
And
name?
how much more power than the Gen 2R at the same boost
Oh,
level?
Luke Bonzani?
So Luke, the Gen 2 and the Gen 2R are still a great value and a great performance. They're going to continue to be featured in our lower level and lower horsepower kits.
And look, I know all of you guys want the biggest, baddest, the newest. And I've been saying this to people that come up to me at shows for I don't know how long, saying, when's the 2650 coming out? When's the 2650 coming out? 2650 is going to be great. It's big, it's bad. But the Gen 2R still has enough power to completely blow up your stock Coyote, your stock MT82, and your stock 8.8 IRS. You can still pull that thing down and make enough power to grenade all of that. So the Gen 2R is still a great blower. We're still going to have it available for you guys. And a lot of you, it's still going to be a great option. But 2650 is going to be the option for the guys that are maybe wanting that. Granted, some of you are just going to buy it because, hey, that's the new one, and more power to you. Great. But to the guys that want to just make that extra power, they're kind of looking for that. I don't know what number should I get here. Like that's where I'm running into a roadblock here. Guys that want to make over 1,000, I'm just saying it. It's happening. Guys that want to make over 1,000, 2650 is what you're getting.
Quadruple digit numbers.
So I have a mic now. You asked for questions and what people had questions, and you have a whole slew of questions coming in.
Oh yeah, holy crap.
So I'm happy to help you with this a little bit.
Let's start sorting through the questions, Carrie.
Alan wants to know, will the Gen 3 still use the Dragon throttle body on the 03 Cobra?
Alan, so that's one of the cool things that I wanted to get into about the Gen 3 for the Cobra. It's going to still take all the same elbow designs that we took on the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Cobra. So it's going to use a bolt-on elbow, and you're going to have your choice of throttle bodies available.
All right.
Nancy Joe says, my husband doesn't know, but the truck is getting one.
I've been talking to Nancy for probably like 6 months about putting a blower on her truck, and it's going to happen.
Jeremy wants to know, how many PSI will the Gen 3 Cobra blower be optional at?
Jeremy, I would say about as low as 16 and about as high as 24 to 26.
24 to 26?
Someone says, when is the Gen...
I think 24 to 26, you're kind of underselling it a little. So, I mean, we're achieving that now.
Yeah, we want to focus on airflow, not necessarily boost.
Okay.
Boost is a restriction.
Well, the gentleman's asking about boost, that's all. I think 24 to 26, he's being very, very modest.
Sean wants to know, when is the Gen 3 GT500 coming out?
Sean, we are launching the blower officially. We will have inventory and on them in March. So just about a month and a half away.
Salvador wants to know, what's the smallest pulley available for the GT500 on a 2650?
2.4.
Someone wants to know, what's for the 2018 Mustang guys and the F-150?
We're working on that.
David wants to know, how much more power than the Gen 2R at the same boost level for Coyote?
This is a good question, David. It depends on how much boost you're running. The more boost you run, the bigger the disparity because of how much more efficient the Gen 3 is.
But I mean, we've had that with upgrades on any blower kit. You know, if you put headers on a car and you're running it 10 pounds of boost, the power gains the headers give you are going to be much greater at 20 pounds of boost compared to the 10 pounds of boost. So that's just kind of how it is working with the TVS blower. You put an intake on, intake gives you 5 horsepower at 10 pounds of boost, it gives you 10 at 20 pounds of boost. As you get higher in boost, the performance always goes up with whatever mods you're doing. 2650 is going to be the exact same way. The gains at 10 PSI are not going to be quite as great as the gains at 20 PSI, and so on and so forth.
We'll save that for a later episode.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Chad says, being a bigger head unit, I am to assume it will be heavier. If so, any idea how much heavier than the previous Gen 2?
It's a little bit heavier. I'd say it's probably about 5 to 8 pounds heavier.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. All right. Is there going to be a new throttle body that will be available with the GT500 kit?
I was going to say, and someone wants to know, is a 10 rib kit going to be available?
So for 5 liter, the 10 rib kit is going to be available with the Gen 3. And it's also going to be available for the Gen 2, Gen 2R as well.
People are asking, oh, sorry.
Going back to the 03 Cobra throttle body, we're going to use the same elbows and the same throttle bodies as before. So that actually is going to stay the same. It's actually a pretty big throttle body that comes with the GT500 03 Cobra kit.
People are asking about pricing. Pricing on the 03, 04 unit and also for the GT500.
Well, we can just cover pricing on the whole thing regardless.
Gen 3 is $39.99, and then you add your throttle body options. So we have an option to fit the stock throttle body if you want to run that tiny little thing.
I wouldn't say tiny little thing. It's not tiny. The Twin 67 has been great to us, makes a lot of power, can see big power. However, if you really, really want to use this blower to its potential, I think we're going to have to be talking about a monoblade.
So, and Donnie's right. Twin 67 is good for 700-800 rear wheel horsepower if you push it, no problem. Chris, why don't you cue that throttle body picture? So on the far right of that picture, we've got the old trusty Ford Racing monoblade throttle body. And it's been around for years. Whipple has their own version that's the same size. I think it's around 66 by 145 or so. It's decent, makes power, 800, 850. It's in a happy place. But of course, Gen 3 is not stopping there. You've already heard quadruple digit horsepower numbers. In the middle is the new VMP 160 millimeter throttle body, and that's designed to match the bolt pattern on the Gen 3. No adapter plate required. And then on the far left, you've got the monster, the VMP 173 millimeter throttle body. That blade is actually wider and taller than the 160. It's just freaking huge. And it basically maxes out the opening shape here. It matches the Gen 3 exactly. I'll show that to you guys in a second. That's the monster. That's what I've been using to test on the dyno. So we did not want Gen 3 to be limited by throttle body size. As you can see, big difference there. If you try to put this guy on here,
it's not going to bolt up.
It doesn't even cover the whole opening. And then you put this in here, and now it's right at home.
In fact, we wanted to kind of help some of you guys out with like the Gen 2R that maybe weren't ready to upgrade to the Gen 3, and we were thinking we were going to put the 173 on the Gen 2R, which I think we still are in the works on that, but
yeah,
from the get-go, we didn't think we were going to be able to because the throttle blade is literally so big, it wasn't going to fit in the mouth of the Gen 2R without some serious spacing, but don't worry, we're still working on that.
So we came up with an adapter plate to use these big throttle bodies on the older blower. Just in case you can't afford the blower yet, you can buy the throttle body and start working your way there. What do you guys think about that? Do you want to see adapter plates to use the new throttle body on the old blower? So you can comment and let us know. We'll check out those comments later.
We got a couple comments now.
Someone wants to know about drivability with the new Monster throttle body.
So the Monster, it's still got to be able to start and idle, but it's intended to be for a race type application. A lot of quarter mile or half mile racing. So basically make as much power as you can. The smaller VMP monoblade, the 160, is designed to be a streetable throttle body. The blade is shorter, but the opening is still very wide to match the Gen 3. But if you're in a street application, this is the throttle body you're going to want. And it's still a nice upgrade over the old standby Ford Racing throttle body.
I was just reading through. Matt Coates, big fan of Matt Coates, says, what discharge temps are you seeing at the same boost levels Gen 3 versus Gen 2R?
I know you're going to be here soon, so
you are going to be here soon.
We can review some data together.
However, my thing was let's talk about a car that's making just easy numbers, 700 horsepower right now with a smaller pulley on it. Just because of the fact you'd be able to put on the Gen 3, we're going to be able to up the pulley size. We're now spinning the rotors slower and being able to still make the same amount of power because of the efficiency of the rotors. So that'll be able to get your IATs down.
Well, and we'll be actually able to run less boost and still make more power.
Exactly.
But we're going to reveal that testing in future shows.
Matt Helms over on YouTube wants to know, does the Gen 3 lose any low-end power compared to the 2.3 liter?
We haven't seen any low-end losses. The efficiency, the TVS is famous for having a really big efficiency island, and that factors into torque too, because making torque just means you have to make airflow. And we're seeing great efficiency with the Gen 3 as well.
I've got Evie trying to scare me through the computer, so Evie, stop trying to scare me and yell and roar at me. Adapter for Gen 2, not R. Michael wants to know if we can have the adapter for Gen 2. In Gen 2, isn't the adapter going to fit right off the Gen 2R onto the Gen 2?
We're making a couple different adapters.
Yeah,
no grind adapters. So the 160 will fit the Gen 2 without any grinding. The 173 will fit the Gen 2R without any grinding. But you could run the 173 on the Gen 2 if you wanted to grind the opening bigger.
It really is just that big of a throttle blade. That was the first thing we honestly checked was when we got the bigger throttle bodies in, because we've had the throttle bodies in for a little bit. They almost showed up a little bit too early. That was one of the first things we were checking, because we already knew some of you guys have kind of reached your limits with the throttle body you have on Gen 2R. Maybe aren't going to be looking at the bigger throttle body, so we've been working on that for a while now. Got here late. Joey got here late. These are for sale yet? Not quite yet. We still want to get all the R&D done. We'll publish numbers. We're going to keep you guys updated, so keep checking back every Thursday.
So I can answer that, Donnie.
Oh, okay. Well.
So GT500 5-liter will be available in March, and we're looking at May to June for Cobra.
Okay.
Really more like June.
Okay.
For 03 Cobra.
So
they don't even care. The fact that we have Cobra blowers is blowing up the comments. They're ecstatic.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, so basically we have our very first prototype that's on the table now. They just came this week. They are doing testing with them at this time.
Well, and yeah, I mean, these are essentially a good example of the full production units. And we're running in a lot of different combinations so we can have those horsepower numbers for you and those track results, because once we get done with the dyno, we go to the track.
That'll be soon. In fact, is there going to be one on a track hypothetically this weekend?
Definitely the next week or two.
Okay.
I don't know for sure this weekend.
We haven't confirmed this weekend?
No.
I'm going to push for this weekend.
Sounds like I'm going to be on the dyno all night.
Maybe not all night, but late into the evening. Let's see. All right, I got nothing else on this.
JP wants to know if you guys have considered a Gen 3 for built 3 valves. 3-valve community needs this kit for us, S197 guys that want to make 1,000.
JP, our GT500 version of the Gen 3 would bolt up to Department of Boost lower intake manifold. So I'd hook up with them for that part and then use our head unit.
Greg says, when will it be available for the GT500? We've already discussed that, but he said, what kind of boost can it make, and is it recommended to have a built engine to run this blower?
So that's a great question, Greg. Our Gen 2 and Gen 2R is capable of pushing the GT500 engine very hard. That's the great thing about this blower. We've got pulleys to run it from as little as 15 pounds on a GT500 to as much as 24 pounds on a GT500. So you can still run it on a stock engine. And the GT500 engine is really stout. You could push 750, 800 rear wheel horsepower without a problem. And this blower will get you there very easily.
Yeah. And that's people want to know the power numbers, like over 1,000. That's my thing. It's like we haven't necessarily published it, but we've seen 1,000 with Gen 2R. I mean, it hasn't been out there necessarily, but me and you sitting here know it's happened.
That was on some money shots. We got to be able to make 1,000
definitely
any day of the week.
Sure.
We got to make well over 1,000 any day of the week.
Okay. Which, yeah, we're gonna have no problems.
You know, and a lot of this speaks to the overall combination. Like, we can sell you the blower, but you got to build the car the right way. We've got some kits that get you started off with the right parts and meet certain advertised horsepower goals. And then Gen 3 will be no different. We'll have a kit for GT500 with the injectors and the tuning and the cold air and throttle body that you need. The Gen 3 will come with our Stage 3 kit for the 5-liter. And it'll come with all the parts you need to get going. But you'll still need to make sure the car has good exhaust. If you want to make even more power, cams are a good way. At some point, you need to build the motor, depending on the combination. If you want to push 1,000, you need to build the motor.
Yeah. If you want to go over 800, let's say, on most applications, we're looking at built motor. At least forged in there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can do it once. A Chevy 350 made 1,358 horsepower with a twin turbo kit, but it did it on an engine dyno twice and then it scattered. So, yeah, you can do it once. We got a bunch of people that are like coming in late and basically just want the highlights real quick. So, Gen 3's here. We are going to make it for 03, 04 Cobra. Starting at $39.99, plus we're going to have to give you throttle body options. We've got a couple VMP custom throttle bodies, monoblade 173 and a 160. We'll also have an adapter plate to go back down to like our Twin 67 if you already have one of those. You just want to run that for the time being. Yes, the Cobra's elbow is going to be in the same place as stock, Jeremy Brown. What throttle bodies fit this blower? Once again, 173, 160, and we'll have adapters.
So we'll have an adapter plate to run a stock style throttle body on the Gen 3, and then we'll have adapter plates to run our throttle bodies on our older blowers too. Is
there a suggestion on using a specific CAI to match up with the 2650?
Any of the commonly available CAIs, PMAS, JLT.
The big ones.
Yeah, those can be adapted with a silicone coupler to our throttle bodies.
Someone is saying, what intake is recommended for the 173?
I would run a 149 or a 148. Basically, the monster. And if you look at that dyno video that we ran during the first part of the show, that's what was on that car.
Do we want to cue up the dyno video again so that those that came in late? Someone made a comment on YouTube, oh my God, that torque.
It moves it around a little bit on the dyno.
Someone else is also asking what type of fuel system upgrade is recommended for the Gen 3?
Well, if you run the big enough pulley, no fuel system upgrades. But as you pulley down, we're going to want to make sure you've got big enough injectors and a big enough fuel pump depending on the type of fuel you're running. E85 takes a much bigger fuel system than regular gasoline.
The same thing as our Gen 2R. If we're looking to make, I don't want to say low because it's not low by any means, but we're looking at 600-700 rear wheel horsepower, fairly large pulley. We're not making too much crazy boost. Same thing, we can run good 93 octane gas and be fine. You want to start pulleying down and making the power, of course we're going to have to do some kind of fuel system. We're going to have to run something other than 93 or 91 that you can get at the pump. When will GT500s be available for purchase? Salvador asks. That'll be March, you said?
March. We'll have a full production release of blowers in March. They'll be black, as one commenter pointed out. You're going to see a handful of these silver blowers on some of our flagship customers' cars and some of our flagship shop cars. So, you know, these things, like he said, these are going to be out here running next week, but you'll be able to purchase your own come March.
Okay.
Greg says, is the forged internal kit on your website good to use with the Gen 3 if I'm looking to make over 1,000?
Absolutely. I'd throw some good cams in there too. We carry the Kurgan cams and the L&M and SR cams.
Colby asks, the throttle body options like the GT500 upgrade from the 2.3 for the 0304 Cobra will not work with the new Gen 3? No, that's what we're going to have the adapter plates. We're going to be able to...
No. He's talking about the Cobra, right?
Oh, yeah. For 0304 Cobra.
So yeah, Cobra will still take the same elbow and the same throttle body options that it's always taken.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's going to be, you know, we've got a GT500 and Coyote Gen 3 on the table here, but the Cobra version is going to have the elbow that bolts up to the side.
Yeah.
On that car, that's just the only way to do it with the fuel rails and the lower intake.
Jacob Roberts wants to know, how are the IAT temps? We kind of went over this, but hey, a bunch of people are jumping in. So with the Gen 3, it being as efficient as it's going to be in the larger displacement, you're going to be able to pulley up and make the same power. So your IAT temps obviously are going to be going down. If we're pulling up, spinning the rotor slower, we're not generating as much heat. We're doing it with less boost. We'll be able to make the same power and, of course, bring the IATs down.
Yeah, now that's one of the things I want to add. If you're running the same boost and you'll be making more power at the same boost level, your IATs are going to be roughly the same. It's really hard to get accurate data after it goes through an intercooler. However, if you decide to put the smallest pulley combo on it, you are going to generate more heat. Boost always makes more heat, and you've got to have the intercooler system there to handle it.
So knowing that it's a larger unit, they are asking, will it clear stock GT500 hood?
Yes.
Another question that's over on YouTube is, will you still offer just the Gen 2 or R for customers that have the VMP Gen 1?
Yeah, Gen 2R isn't going anywhere.
And they might be talking about a housing upgrade.
Oh, okay.
We don't offer housing upgrades anymore, but we are still going to have the Gen 2R for at least this year.
Salvador wants to know if he can see the underneath of the blower compared to the previous blower.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Sure. I'll be the pretty camera girl that holds it. You can talk.
So I've got the massive 2650 rotors, higher twist on them, but everything pretty much is the same under here. Bypass valves in the same location. All your factory lines and fittings hook back up. You know, this is a Coyote version, so it's very slightly different from the GT500 version that you run on your car.
Okay, I'm gonna not drop this. All right. We got any questions on YouTube?
No, YouTube is pretty good right now. Yes, I was going to say that. Dorian's asking, what's the price point on the throttle bodies?
The big one, Dorian, is $799, and the 160 is $749.
We have another. Let's see here. Anyway, over on YouTube. I already own a Gen 2 on my GT500 with a 2.4 and 10% crank. I hit 775. Same swap to Gen 3 on 93 octane. What will I get? So
sounds like on 93 octane, you're already running out.
That's a pretty aggressive tune to make 775 on 93. You're going to see significantly more horsepower with the additional efficiency and displacement of the Gen 3. Now you're going to want to run, if you're running a 2.4 and a 10%, you're going to want to run between a 2.6 and a 2.8 upper pulley with the Gen 3 to keep boost still kind of sane for that 93 octane.
All right, we've got like 80 people watching right now. We're waiting for some comments to come in.
Gary wants to know, does E85 fuel eat your engine from the inside out and absorb moisture from the air, alloy and brass dissolves in it, or is this a myth?
It's kind of a myth, but I wouldn't leave it in your car through winter.
E85 is a little more corrosive than regular gasoline, and it definitely does go bad a little bit faster than your regular ethanol fuels do.
But it really only matters if you live in freezing temps and you don't drive your car off.
Yeah, that's if we're leaving it sitting, you're going to have a problem with almost anything. E85, you just get the problems a little bit faster. E85 is great. We still love it. We still run it in a bunch of our cars.
Lynn says, sorry, off subject, but will you be at Commerce doing any dyno touch-ups this year?
We're not going to make it to Commerce this year. We'll announce our official dyno schedule here probably in the next couple weeks.
Scott says, what will the Stage 3 kit price and the oval throttle body be included?
We're looking at how we're going to package the Stage 3 kit, but it's going to be more expensive, but it's still going to be reasonable. It's going to be in the $8,000 to $9,000 range.
All right, we've got some good viewers right now. We can release the code that we've been teasing them with. We teased you guys with two things.
Code.
We teased you guys with two things. The fact that we were maybe going to talk about the Gen 3 tonight and 50% off merchandise. So our sales team has put together the coupon code Burnout Box 2, to the number, not 2 spelled out, and that's going to get you 50% off of t-shirts, hats, that beautiful Gen 3 that I know you guys want to order, all within the next week.
VMP t-shirts, hats like Donnie's.
Whoa, my hair.
Actually, Donnie will actually sign this hat for you and send it to you.
I will sign my hat if that really is what makes you happy. In fact, I will count the amount of people that ask me to sign their hat for the show next week, and I'll bet you $5 right now it's maybe one. Maybe there's like one guy sitting at home like, oh, I'm going to be the funny guy that actually asked for that. I'm going to say it's one. My signature's horrible, by the way. Don't get excited, that one guy that's watching. But yeah, so we've got, for the next week, 50% off it.
Donnie, aren't you single? How do you know it's not a girl that's watching that might want
if it's
a
a
hat
girl,
signed
it's
by
really,
you?
If you're a female that wants your hat signed, make sure you include that you're a female because I'll write the phone number underneath it too.
This is now Donnie's dating show.
It is. This is welcome to the Burnout Box dating show. Next week we're gonna have speed dating. Works with the company.
Hey, one day you could be like me and have 5 kids.
If you're looking for 5 kids, do not call me and ask for my phone number. That's not me. I like race cars.
We got plenty of race cars at my house.
Yeah, you do. I work for you, not the other way around, sir. All right. Well, Joey wants me to sign his hat, so we're getting somewhere, I guess. All right. We've got some questions. Scott, how far out are the kits? We're still looking at kit options and whatnot. However, like we have discussed earlier, the blowers are going to be available come March for GT500 and Coyote. Coming in June, we'll be getting you Cobra guys happy.
So his question is kits. He's probably thinking of Stage 3 for a 5-liter.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if we've got the blowers here, there's no reason we can't ship them out with a Stage 3 kit.
Okay.
We just got to figure out what the price is going to be.
So the actual kit itself, March.
What would you guys? So like I struggle with the kits. So like the 5-liter kits, we offer 3 different versions for Mustang. We're going to offer 2 versions for F-150. But like, what do you guys want to see in a kit? You know, Stage 3 is like the top tier, so that should get the Gen 3 head unit, but are there any other parts or pieces that we're leaving out or you don't want to pay for? Anything you'd like to see us do differently?
All right, well, we're waiting for those questions to come in. Patrick wants to know, besides being physically bigger, what other advantages does this new rotor pack have over the 2.3? We've kind of gone over that, but I'm sure he's not the only one just chiming in now. The new rotor pack has a more aggressive angle on it, as we can see from the bottom. You know what I mean when I'm talking about the angle. So the rotors actually are more efficient, not to mention the size.
We've had this blower mapped out on a test bench, and it's incredibly more efficient. The rotors just move the air and pump it into the engine in a much more efficiently, based on the shape of the rotors, the twist like he was talking about. Even the larger diameter of the rotor makes more of it exposed to the incoming airflow stream and makes it work a lot better.
Okay. Alan asked, 0304 Cobra. I'm just going to tell him yes, just because I know how long you guys 0304 Cobra guys have been waiting for us to talk about you. Like I feel bad. Like we talked about 2650. Everybody knew it was coming out for Coyote GT500, and we've just kind of been telling the Cobra guys like, we'll see. So every one of you that keeps asking from this point out, I'll keep answering you. Will the current Gen 2 pulleys work for the Gen 3?
Yes, they will. Carrie, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I want to hit a couple of the YouTube comments, because what happens is once we aren't live anymore, the YouTube comments disappear. The Facebook stay there, so we can always go back and answer Facebook.
Okay.
YouTube, we can't. So over on YouTube, Street Driven wants to know, can I get one installed at Shelby Fest?
Absolutely.
Martin says, can you use the Ford Racing oval throttle body on a Gen 2R, and is a JLT 127mm intake good for it?
So we could use that with the adapter plate for the stock throttle body. And you could use that intake at lower boost levels.
I think you're good there for now.
All right. Will this fit a Gen 2? Steven wants to know, will this fit his Gen 2 lower? If so, will you be offering a kit minus blower for those buying up the used blowers from the ones that upgraded? So let's start with the easy part of that question. Will it fit the Gen 2R lower?
Yes.
Okay.
No problem. Designed to bolt on wherever our blower bolted on before, this new one will still bolt on.
Anthony is asking or saying, I've got a 14 GT and I'm wondering if it's worth it to spring for what will be the Stage 3 kit, or if the Stage 2 kit with the Gen 2R is sufficient if I plan to keep the car on pump 93.
If you're staying on pump 93 and we don't have a built motor yet, then you're okay with the Gen 2R. Like I kind of said earlier, the Gen 2R can make enough power to blow your motor, blow the trans, blow the rear end right out of it. So if you want to stay stockish, we're staying on pump gas, Gen 2R is the way to go, man. Matt wants to know the 50% off code again. Matt, it's going to be Burnout Box 2, because this is the second episode.
The number 2?
The number 2, not written out 2, just because I could see that being confusing. Good for t-shirts, hats, USB drives, all that fun stuff.
All one word.
Hoodies.
Hoodies.
It's cold.
Hoodies, all that. I have an E85 question. My car, 2014 GT, he has our Stage 2 kit. Should I get a 93 tune and with a 79, should I do 93?
You can do 93.
You're right on the edge.
Yeah, it's on the edge. I mean, if you need to get when we're tuning your car, we want to know what fuel primarily you're going to run, so we can put the remote tuning efforts into making that one run the best. It's not a perfect world switching between E85 and 93 with like a flex fuel tune. We don't do that on blower cars. But if you need a 93 tune just to winterize the car, that's not a big deal.
Joseph wants to know, 03 Cobra TVS inlets on the same side. Yes, sir. 03, 04 Cobra is going to have the same bolt-on elbow on the same side. We're just bringing you the Gen 3. That's all that's really changing. Mike said, I think he meant 2.3 Gen 2 versus 2650. Or he said 2.9 Gen 2 versus 2650. So I don't know if he's trying to talk about our product or somebody else's versus 2650. Mike, you got to comment again and say if that's a typo or if you're trying to get me to badmouth somebody. You got to be clear there. Terry, you got anything on YouTube?
Yeah.
Darren wants to know, what's the max efficient boost range for the new 2650? Andy said our USB drives that he ordered a couple weeks ago are awesome. So you've heard it right there from a customer.
So I would say the boost range is going to be anywhere from as little as 10 pounds if you run the big freaking pulley on a 6-rib to as high as 24 to 26. You know, I touched on this earlier. You don't want to run a ton of boost. You want to, at that point, if you're running above 20 pounds, you're probably building the motor, and you should be building it to optimize airflow. Ported heads, big cams, you know, things like that, they make the whole system work together better.
All right. Mike Kelly elaborated, and you got to tell me if I can talk smack or not.
No, it's not really about talking smack. The data is already out there on the efficiency maps of the Gen 2 versus the Gen 2 Whipple versus the Eaton 265 rotor pack. So that data has actually been out there for the better part of a year.
Okay.
Eaton released it at the SEMA show, not in 2017, but in 2016. And it ruffled some feathers over at Whipple, you know, you kind of expect that. And they came out with their Gen 3 rotor pack for the 2.9, which is all over the internet right now. I think time will tell, but we don't have any problems. We've never had a problem putting our smaller displacement supercharger up against larger displacement twin screws, and with the Gen 3, I have no issues whatsoever.
And that's I kind of got confused because he said the 2.9 Whipple Gen 2 versus 2650, and it's like we've kind of already been the competition for the 2.9 Whipple with our 2.3 blower.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and it's different based off everyone you ask, but that's kind of where we were already at. We were looking at targeting the customers that were looking at like a 2.9 Whipple. That was our option for those guys, was our 2.3 blower. So the 2650 is actually going to be what we're hoping somebody's option if they're looking at more like a Whipple 3.5, 3.4, whatever size it is. I don't keep track of theirs.
The flow potential of this blower is insane for some very simple reasons. The symmetrical rotor design is capable of incredible RPM without failure, and it just can move a ton of air.
Over on YouTube, so Martin wants to confirm the Gen 2R cannot use the Ford Racing Oval without a plate.
The Gen, does it mean the Gen 3
He
cannot
says
use?
well, he specifically said
Oh,
Gen
the Gen
2R.
2R. Oh no, that bolts right up. I'm sorry, I thought he was. Yeah, any GT500 bolt pattern throttle body bolts up to a Gen 2R.
Shay Boy, I guess is what it is. Shay 80. Anyway, my GT500 engine is already built up with C16, same setup 2.4, and 10% crank on a Gen 3.
So, and then he's asking what the horsepower possible will be.
Yes, and then he says what will be the horsepower.
All right, well, first off, we hate giving people numbers. Just like we're going to make that so you know that moving on in the show from here, whenever you call us, we hate giving you numbers because the problem is the numbers that we get here with our gas that's great from down the street, we're right at sea level, a whopping 4 miles from the beach. Yes, I know it's horrible living in Florida. Is going to be completely different from what you're going to get because you live in Colorado with 91 octane gas. You're at 5,000 feet elevation.
But we got to give him something. I mean, he's using C16.
He's using C16.
Doesn't have the gas excuse. So we've already. I mean, haven't we had a couple? Haven't you worked on a couple cars that have made like 900 with Gen 2Rs?
Oh yeah, 900
GT500s with Gen 2Rs.
Yeah.
He's got a GT500, so we'll speak to the GT500.
Okay.
And when you start modding them, the 5.4 and the 5.8 are closer to each other than that little bit of displacement. It makes a difference, but it doesn't make a huge difference.
Aren't they the same block?
Yeah, with some differences in the sleeves and stuff.
Yeah.
But so 900 on a built at the wheels on a built GT500 with our 2.3.
That's been done.
2650. I'm going to let you do a little bit of math here. 10 to 20% more is not out of the question.
And once again, I think you're being very, very generous, even saying 10%.
You mean I'm being very conservative?
You're being very conservative. Yeah,
10%.
yeah.
Hey,
sorry.
I'm the only one that's been on the dyno with the Gen 3.
That's very true. I'm gonna try to change that tomorrow.
I already know the numbers, but I'm running it a lot of different ways before I release them.
How fast? Patrick wants to know how fast are you guys spinning the 2650 on your dyno testing? Well, I'm just gonna speak from what I know. I haven't been on the dyno, but I know how fast Rebecca Starkey's race car spins her old blower, and this blower currently has about the same size pulley as what her old blower had on it, and that one spun right at about 24,000 RPMs the whole way down the track. And then just so you know, we completely test our blowers before they go anywhere. There's actually some of them currently sitting on a stand right now getting spun anywhere from 5,000 RPMs up to 25,000 RPMs constantly. And we test them completely, make sure nothing's going to go wrong. So
durability testing for blowers.
Durability testing. We have no problem telling you to go home, spin this thing to 25,000 RPMs, and it'll be reliable. Dorian wants to know, will there be a more efficient lower manifold intercooler design from VMP for the 11 to 17 Coyotes? check back in a little bit. I don't want to give you a solid yes or no right now, but we're definitely working on it. We're thinking the exact same thing you are. We've got a better head unit. How else can we grow and make more power?
So we kind of hold the records for ETs with our own blower. And that car we posted the picture of earlier doing the wheelie, it's got a stock, unported lower intake manifold, and it's got a stock intercooler core. I mean, that stuff works really good. And are there improvements to be had? Probably. We're looking at that, looking at offering it a couple different ways. Modular, so it can be economical. You don't have to buy everything, you can buy parts of it. But if there's horsepower on the table, we're gonna find it, but does everybody need to run out and buy it? No, I don't think so.
Okay. Mike Kelly wants to know powder-coated option on 2650. Mike, these ones are only unpainted you're seeing right now. It's completely functional blower. We're putting them on cars right now doing testing. It's just unpainted because we wanted the blower so bad. We told the manufacturer, just send them. We don't care about paint. Get them here as fast as you possibly can. So
they'll be black.
It's still going to be offered in our same black that other blowers have been optioned with. It's the Burnout Box. We don't have to play Burnouts over there. Anything on YouTube? I'm running out of Facebook. We have 70 people watching right now. How will I have no questions? Like you don't have to. I mean, we're focusing on Gen 3.
You have about 50 people on YouTube.
Yeah, we got a lot of people watching on YouTube.
So people are saying, sounds good, well done, can't wait till March.
Oh,
Brian comes on.
7 o'clock.
He says, guesses on torque numbers, potential 0304 Cobra with new TVS on E85 with 20-ish PSI.
Oh, Brian, that's an interesting subject for me because there's dynographs flying around the internet and there's differing stories about where those dynographs come from.
I like the dynographs that are out there that are missing torque. And they just claim, oh, nothing picked up. So here's the horsepower numbers. We couldn't get torque that day.
That's another story. But
I'm not naming anyone, just saying hypotheticals.
Yeah, but Brian, significant potential. It's not going to be uncommon to see 10 to 20% more power at the top end of the spectrum. When you're turning a 2.3 really hard and you replace it with our Gen 3, you're going to see big power gains. And we already know that the Gen 2 for the 034 Cobra can make 700 at the tires on E85 pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, I think this is the last one. We work with L&M engines a lot. The biggest thing is just work with an engine builder you trust that's got good timelines and that you can communicate well with, and I don't think you can go wrong. But one of the big names is L&M engines. I think that just about wraps it up. Any stragglers on questions?
We got a few small ones. I've seen this one like 5 times, so we'll answer it.
You have a whole bunch of comments and questions kind of coming in on Facebook.
Yeah, I think because I said there's 70 of you, now they're showing up. Joey, can we pre-order? No, sir, we're not offering pre-ordering at this time. They'll hit in March as fast as you get your order in.
I don't know. If he wants to buy one, we should get him on the list, shouldn't we?
Okay, I lied, Joey. We can pre-order. Yeah, give us a call tomorrow.
We will announce, if we're going to take pre-orders, we will announce that.
Okay. Well, you know more than I do at this point, Joey.
What I was going to say is we can kind of go through the comments later on if you want, and you can respond to them directly.
Yeah, we'll hit the comments after the show.
As they start coming in.
I think we've got an hour in here, so you guys...
Yeah, you have a couple more that came in on YouTube, and only reason I'm addressing those is those disappear. The Facebook ones stay, so you can always go back and comment on the Facebook ones. Cam says, your new big monoblade throttle body, do you have the perfect tune yet with the new 2650 TVS? And Just a Gamer says, is a tune on its own worth it?
Yes. Well, I think that wraps it up.
Yep.
Thank you guys and girls for watching.
Thanks. I put a lot of work into my random info that I give you during these shows, so make sure you like, share, subscribe. That way, your mom can see it too on your Facebook page. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Thanks for watching.
See you next week.
You'll see this at a racetrack soon.
Near you. Top of my head's cut off.